All right, there you go. That was The Boys, and it's good to see the boys back from Perth. I never normally do this, but I'm going to re-review this album. It's called the Corroboree album by Split Enz. Last week I said I hadn't heard it that much, and I only played it a couple of times, and I thought then it was a pretty good album. After further listening, this is a magnificent album. It, without a doubt, is quite a magnificent album. I don't want to say that old, the favour. Instead of this, I would simply say you must go out and listen to this album because it is quite superb. Corroboree, Split Enz, one of the best albums I've heard for a long while. Okay, next week the Reels, or the week after actually, the Reels are going to be on the show. Let's have a look at Shout and Deliver by the Reels. Listen, I'm...
Shout and deliver, don't run away. Run away. Yours is the future, don't run away. Run away. Shout and deliver, don't run away. Run away.
All right, that was Shout and Deliver by the Reels. They're going to be on the show in a couple of weeks' time, and that's quite an excellent single. They don't cease to amaze me, this group, because they keep coming up with something different. Don't forget, after the news tonight, we've got on Weekend Magazine an Elvis Presley special, and for all those Elvis freaks, you're going to love this one. After the news tonight on Weekend Special. All right, this particular guy is a real rogue, Ian Dury. You've already seen the film clip and you've already heard the song. He's an amazing guy, this guy. Ian Dury and the Blockheads with laughter, and there's a lot of laugh on this particular album. All right, watch out for it. Colin Stead is one guy that's going to make it big. Here he is with Wheels of Love. Colin Stead, remember the name.
You keep pretending you love him more than you ever loved me. I think it's a matter of attention. You keep giving your attention to him and never giving it back to me. And those wheels keep on turning.
As I say, remember the name. Hall & Oates were very impressed with this country. They came out, and the course Kiss on My List was a track that hadn't really been tested in America. They came out here to test it, became a hit here, so they said, okay, we'll release it in the States. It's turned out to be their biggest hit ever. Here is another track off the album called Diddy Do Wop, Hall & Oates. Amazing group. They're coming out again this year, and deservedly so. Also remember that Madness are on tour here soon. They've added extra dates, and it should be a wow of a tour. They're very funny guys. This particular group, Styx, we saw Tommy last year. This group have got an album out called Paradise. You must listen to this album as well. It's a great album, and I'm sure it's one that's going to entertain a lot of people and great to have in the record collection. Styx with Paradise. All right. Last week we had a lot of letters in about Cold Chisel, sort of saying how dare they do this on the Rock Awards. Well, this week it has become ridiculous because there are so many people out there, and Jimmy, you're listening, that have supported your actions and sort of said, like, number one, you're a dimwit, Molly, for how dare you say that about Cold Chisel. Number two, why would you have the right? After all, it was an industry vote, and we don't really need your opinion or your vote as far as the Most Outstanding Achievement Award is concerned. A couple of letters that said so many things. I mean, here are the letters here. They keep going on and on and on. So there's for and against, and mostly this week they were for Cold Chisel. And I think that rather than go into all the letters, I think that it really speaks for itself that their latest double live album is #1 in Adelaide, #1 in Brisbane, #1 in Sydney, #2 in Melbourne, probably #1 next week. So as far as as Cold Chisel are concerned with rock and roll lives on, and no matter what idiots like myself say, then rock and roll shows through. And I might add also, a lot of critics out there going about the power of Countdown and the power of myself. And all I can say is that, and I've said it so many times before, the public make up their own minds, and this time they have. And as far as what you may have thought was a sort of a bad act on the night, forgive and forget, and rock and roll lives through. So congratulations, Cold Chisel, for having that magnificent entry into the charts, and just think a little bit more about what you're doing on the Rock Awards next year, if you're going to do next year, of course. Here is James Freud, who was excellent on the Rock Awards with his group called Berlin with Automatic Crazy.